Hello and welcome back to another Gunpla review. Today we're taking a look at the 24th Century Weapons Pack from Gundam Build Fighters. This is going to be a bit of a shorter review since it's only a weapons pack, so I figured I'd take the time at the start of it to tell you all that assuming my next order gets in by Sunday, I will be doing a build stream over on Twitch. A link to my Twitch channel in the description. Of course, you're going to want to subscribe to this channel, as I'm going to be putting up an unboxing of my next order whenever that arrives, and I'll let you know what kit I am planning on building Sunday in that video. So keep an eye out for that. And if it isn't obvious by now, I will be using the Jim as a model for the weapons throughout the review. In fact, let's start with the weapon that the Jim is holding right now, the GN Assault Carbine. This is a fairly large rifle, definitely based on the M16. It has one handle for the trigger finger, as well as a secondary handle on the side. Personally, I think this weapon looks a bit front heavy, but I can't deny it looks quite good when held. Next up is the GN Submachinegun, which you'll notice looks very similar to the carbine. Really, the only change is the barrel, as well as the additional magazine. Also, you'll notice that this one is solid and this one is hollow, and those are both separate pieces. And I left the one in the carbine out in order to add some visual differentiation between them. Obviously, you can choose to modify them however you wish, but just letting you know that you do have the option to fill in this gap. Now, the Submachinegun is my go-to for the Jim itself, actually. I prefer the look of this to the standard spray gun it comes with. It fits nicely into the hand. And you can fairly easily get the other hand to hold. It does get cut a little bit at the very end there, but that's just, there we go. It's fairly easy to get both hands onto the weapon, looking fairly natural. And I find that the proportions of this match better and end up looking quite nice with the Jim itself. Moving on, we have the GN pistol, one of my favorites of the set, and I didn't expect such a small weapon to become my favorite, but the design of the pistol is really quite nice, and given the size, it's fairly impressively detailed at that. It actually has a small square in the front that you could easily put a foil sticker or paint it for a camera. This, like all the other weapons, slots into the hand, does stick up a little bit further than I would have liked personally. But you could always just shave down the sort of faux trigger, and that would have it sit in the hand more flush. Moving on to the GN rifle, and you have two different barrel options. And I'm going to move Jim back for this, as this is quite a long weapon. This being the GN long rifle, and it has a fold-out handle on the side for stability. This is a very long, very sniper-like barrel, you can slide that off and slide the short barrel in, and you get more of a carbine style weapon. Now, this can just be pegged into the hand, same as all the others. And thankfully, since this can fold forward, it's actually really easy to get it into the other hand. You can rest the stock up against the shoulder, and generally it looks quite nice. Also, you can just quick swap these. And these are on very sturdily, they're not going to fall off, which is always nice. You can see just how there we go. You can see just how large this rifle is. It's it can stand up. It's fairly front heavy, so that actually kind of surprised me. But I mean, it's about as tall as a high grade itself. It's a very long weapon. And finally, the melee weapon of the kit, the GN Buster Sword. I should have mentioned earlier on that the green and red detailing on the rest of these weapons is painted on, as they just come in flat medium gray. That wasn't really a problem with the other weapons, as it was only just a few lights, but with this one I painted the entire blade, and I figured it was necessary to mention that out of the box it doesn't look this good. In fact, I kind of considered this the least nice looking piece of the weapon set until I painted it, in which case it definitely jumped up to at least above the carbine, probably above the long rifle. I actually really quite like this with a bit of color separation, though keep in mind that that does mean you're going to have to put in a bit more work to get this to look nice. Just like all the other weapons, it just slots into the hand. And despite being so long, it's fairly thin, so it's not that heavy, meaning that you can get dynamic poses with it fairly easily. And you can see that without even using an action base, or a Submachinegun 5, as I would use, you can get very dynamic posing using the Buster Sword. Now, on to the size comparisons, and I'm going to have to do things a little bit differently for this, as it's so many different individual options instead of just one kit. Just putting all the weapons onto the cutting board, and you can see for yourself how large they are. Now, wrapping this review up, the inevitable question is, can I recommend you buying this? And the answer is yes, but if you just want some weapons to give to your kids, I don't know if I can recommend this, as straight out of the box, they do come across quite plain. However, it doesn't require that much paint to give them a little bit of life, aside from the Buster Sword, which is very boring unless you give it a bit of love and attention with your brush. But if you have a kit or two and you can see them with these weapons and you don't mind putting in a bit of time to paint them, or if you're making a custom and you wanted to give it one of these weapons and you're going to be painting anyway, then absolutely, I can recommend buying this. But anyway, that's all for this review. Be sure to let me know what you think down in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Be sure to subscribe for future reviews and watch my backlog. And until next time, as always, happy building.